We want to get in front of the issue before it's a crisis.
Thousands of Iowans say the state is already too late. For many families, an autism diagnosis is a test of patience. There's the wait to see a specialist to get that diagnosis, and then perhaps most excruciating, the wait for treatment. It is heartbreaking for patients to know that help for their child is available, but inaccessible, and more Iowans are waiting than ever before.
Got so many paths to home.
When we first met the Brune family, Colin was in kindergarten.
Yay!
His mom, Kelly, was frustrated by the shortage of special education resources.
What a day!
That frustration has only grown, extending into another area affecting kids with an autism diagnosis.
With a laundry list of items to tackle. And the very first item on that list is you need to get on the state's intellectual and disability waiver list because it could take years.
You heard right, years. She's talking about the Medicaid waiver, called that because it waives income requirements, so kids with significant disabilities are covered. You reached out to the Department of Human Services not too long ago about the wait list and the fact that you've been waiting for 4 years.
Yes.
What was the response?
Yes, so I actually brought it with me because it was in the fall when I reached out, and it was sort of just a standard response that came back, but they said, you know, Colin's application date was November 28th of 2018, and the next waiver slot to be awarded has an application date of February 26, 2018. We cannot at this time estimate when this applicant will be awarded a slot because the number of applicants with emergent or urgent needs can be moved to the top of that slot. So we continue to wait.
Why is the wait so long?
Iowa is not alone. Most states have wait lists because...
Liz Matney is Iowa's Medicaid director, and it's true, most states do have wait lists. But right now, there is no autism-specific waiver in Iowa. Families like the Brunes apply for 3 different waivers: children's mental health, health and disability, and intellectual disability.
All of those waivers have wait lists that can range between 1 year and 4 years right now. It's too long.
Here's what's happened with those waiver wait lists over the past 5 years. The children's mental health waitlist has decreased from just over 1,000 in 2019 to just under 800 this year. Both the health and disability and the intellectual disability waivers have steadily increased. The HD waitlist has grown to more than 7,000, the ID waitlist to more than 6,000.
Medicaid will be the backbone because that's where we really go to when we think about people who have specialized needs.
As the State Director of Mental Health and Disability Services, Marissa Ianson knows going from waitlist to waiver can be life-changing.
Like if I get a call from someone at DHS telling me, good news, you're not on the wait list anymore, what does that mean for my son, for my family?
Sure, so I can talk about that just a little bit. So what the waiver really means to folks is that they're going to have access to an enhanced array of services.
So for children specifically, we want to connect them with the resources that they need so that to the extent possible, they can live their most productive and high quality life, really reaching their potential.
Might be lifelong supports, things that we can build in for someone that are going to help them stay at home. So it may be skill building, it may be someday in the future we're going to build the skills that are going to secure us a job and they're going to secure us our own place to live and that sort of thing. So it's really coming in with those additional supports. Sometimes it's going to be additional medical support. It could be nursing, for instance, nursing that's happening at home. But oftentimes it's things like what we call supported community living or supported employment services.
Services that are out of reach for the thousands of people on the wait list.
I feel really blessed that I have insurance and an employer who really supports us.
Who says quack?
It was Duck.
It was Duck. Great work.
He can have ABA therapy. He can get speech and physical therapy because he needs those things. But what about the students who don't have access to those things?
IWANT.
Things like this.
So Colin has his talker. It is with him 24/7. It goes to school. It goes to ABA. It goes on the playground with him. Everywhere he goes, that is his voice.
I want a big chip.
Yeah, you can have a big chip.
Families without resources who aren't on the waiver aren't so lucky. Their school will likely provide a device for using at school, but that's it.
That device stays at school. It does not follow them at home. It does not follow them in after hours. And so while they're doing some really good learning and growth at school, it stops as the school day stops.
A big chip? Can you tell me?
The waiver would be able to do that, but right now we've got too many people on the wait list not getting the resources that they deserve.
We have to operate our program within the budget that's appropriated to us by the governor's office and the legislature.
The investment from the state has steadily increased over the past 5 years to more than $7 billion in the last fiscal year. And last year, DHS received more than $560 million from the American Rescue Plan. $2 million of that was used to study the current system. What do you think about that?
Well, it wouldn't have taken much study to just come and talk with parents about what life is like, because it is not right. We do not feel supported as parents.
What do you think they should have done with that money?
Well, isn't this the challenge of every organization, you know? But I just have to believe that putting more of those dollars toward the students who need that funding would have been a better use of funds.
The result of that study is a report that recommends streamlining the waiver process, including developing a single waiting list. But when it comes to implementing changes, there's another wait list. This graphic on the DHS website shows that improved waitlist policy and procedure is in its exploration phase, with no plans to move past that. So really, you haven't been given any indication of how much longer Colin might have to wait.
Oh no, we could be waiting many more months, another year, 2 years.
What are you doing? You find it?
We're just trying to navigate this world on our own, and it's like a completely different universe. And if we cannot look at our most vulnerable in our community and think we need to do all we can to support them, then who are we? What are we doing? We have an obligation as leaders to serve these community members and help them become all that they can be, and our community will be better for it.
Now, DHS is also using more than $100 million for things like recruiting and retention bonuses within the home and community-based services system, increasing rates that service providers are paid, some pilot programs, and finally, maybe ways to buy down those horribly long wait lists. Also, though that last graphic on the state's website only shows this issue being explored, the authors of the study recommend full implementation of these changes by the end of next year into 2025.
So more waiting for these families.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks a lot. We know this hits home for a lot of families out there. Thanks, Erin.